You will not believe this one. Ever since her divorce from Bill Gates, Melinda Gates has not shied away from making some interesting comments when it comes to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. What started as vague mentions in interviews has now turned into something a little more revealing, allegedly, with the release of her new book. In it, she drops even more hints about Bill's relationship with Epstein, and today we're gonna cover it all. As always, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos just like this, and keep in mind, this is all allegedly. I am not saying anything is definitive fact, but it's interesting. Let's look at it.
You know, those meetings were a mistake. They didn't result in what he purported, and I cut them off. You know, that goes back a long time ago now. So there's nothing new on that.
It was reported that you continue to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that. Is there
a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so, in general, you always have to be careful.
The reason I showed you this clip is because the connection between Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein is one of those stories that quietly slipped under the radar, but once you hear the details, it's impossible to ignore. While any sane person would distance themselves from a convicted offender, Gates, a man with access to possibly the best advisors on earth, still chose to meet him. Not just once, but multiple times starting around 2011. Bill claims those meetings were about philanthropy and global health, but when you're one of the richest men alive, I guess I just find it hard to believe that you'd need Epstein's network. What's even stranger is that these meetings happened in Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, and according to the New York Times, Gates even stayed late into the night on at least one occasion. Allegedly. The same article alleges that Epstein told a team that was sent on behalf of the Gates Foundation that, quote, if they searched his name on the internet, they might conclude that he was a bad person, but that what he had done was no worse than stealing a bagel, end quote. Yeah, right. When it comes to Melinda, she spoke about Epstein, so let's hear what she had to say before I tell you what was mentioned in the new book.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
You felt that the moment you walked in? I didn't realize that. He was awful. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Mm-hmm.
This interview was around 3 years ago, and you could tell Melinda knew more than she was letting on. She kept things diplomatic and didn't want to go all out on her ex-husband. In recent books, she opened up a little bit more, writing, quote, that October things had reached a fever pitch when the New York Times published a deeply disturbing article that raised serious questions about Bill's conduct. Questions that suggested he had betrayed not only our marriages, but also my values. The betrayal part is at least suggesting potentially the previous allegations of Bill having an affair with a Russian bridge player by the name of Mila Antonova, who happened to be connected to Jeffrey and was used by him to allegedly blackmail Gates for money, allegedly. Again, this is all alleged, but the last word of the paragraph where she mentions her values is what stood out to me. You see, Melinda's long been a strong advocate for women's rights globally and has donated money toward that cause. For her to say Bill betrayed her values suggests that whatever happened behind the scenes went far beyond personal heartbreak and hit at the core of what she stands for. In a more recent appearance with Colbert, Melinda was asked why she would even write about her divorce and let everything out, and she made some very valid points.
You've always been a deeply private person. You know, I'm not even sure if your real name, is Melinda French Gates. But how difficult was it to write about truly challenging things in your lives, like the loss of a dear friend, the end of your marriage after 27 years.
Yeah.
How did you feel about sharing that after being so private for so long?
Yeah, I thought it would be, first of all, disingenuous if I didn't write about the transition out of my marriage, because people knew it had happened to me, and it happens to, unfortunately, a lot of families.
Well, what did you learn about marriage by reflecting on this?
Well, I learned that
You were a famous married couple.
we were, and but I learned, to have a trusted relationship, which is what I wanted in marriage. Both partners have to be honest with one another, and if you can't have intimacy and you can't have trust. And so in the end, I had to go.
I'm certainly not a psychologist, but at least she looks a bit healed from it. Even if a ghostwriter helped her with the book, putting your thoughts down is scientifically proven to help heal you from trauma. By the way, I've noticed you haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel yet, so what are you waiting for? Even after all the investigative reporting and Melinda's hints, Bill continues to deny anything went on behind the scenes and gets stressed every time an interviewer brings up his Jeffrey connection, like in this interview.
One of the issues that's dogged you is that of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you regret the relationship that you maintained with him against Melinda's advice and wishes?
Oh, I've said that you're going way back in time, but yeah,
New audience.
I will say for the, over 100th time, yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him.
Epstein had a way of sexually compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
And that you regret the relationship, the acquaintance?
That I had dinner with him.
And the relationship between the foundation and Epstein, which
There never was any relationship of any kind.
The man is so full of it. You can see it on his face, allegedly. Remember the blackmailing allegation I told you about earlier? Well, there's allegedly an email of Epstein implying he knew of Bill's affair and was ready to expose it, and his associates said the amount of money demanded was not significant. It was the thinly veiled threat which mattered. When you connect all these pieces, it paints a picture that's the complete opposite of what Gates claims publicly. Allegedly, of course. But there's one clip from Cindy McCain that reveals the truth behind this entire Epstein situation, and it's almost prophetic.
Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. All of a sudden, someone said, BS, we're not afraid of you anymore on what you're doing. It's not only wrong, it's illegal, it's, all those things. It's like a house of cards now. It's going to start tumbling, believe me. And these guys, if they don't leave the country, number one, they're going to get caught, and they're going and they, not only will they get caught, but they're going to be made examples of.
It's clips like this which reveal just how deep the cover-up really went. I'm not so sure about the being made an example of part, but at least we got the Diddy case last year, and there seems to be much more focus on such issues in the public discourse in general. That said, if we really want the full picture, it's going to take more than scattered headlines. Remember when Kash Patel and Pam Bondi promised to push for those release of all the sealed files? Yeah, we're still waiting. Until that happens, we're left piecing together breadcrumbs, but I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends, it means the world. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.